Good morning, YouTube. How are you guys doing today? Hope you guys will be having a happy Sunday today. For those of you that celebrate Easter, happy Easter. I want to do this quick review on the Tyler Perry movie titled Acrimony. Me and my sister and my niece went to see the movie yesterday. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was a bit disturbing. Um, for me. The movie was primarily it starred Taraji P Henson, and if you haven't seen it, well, this is my review of it, so they're going to be spoilers, okay? Because I've got a lot to say about it, but I'm gonna make it quick because it is Sunday. But I really want to bring this review to you guys because I think it is really it's really a very important topic that goes on in our community concerning stereotypes. Anyway, let me get into to review. So, like I said, the movie is called Acrimony, and it's starring Taraji P Henson. In the movie, Taraji P Henson is a black woman scorned, but she is like scorned 2.0. She's scorned to another level, but she's actually mentally ill. And in the movie, when the movie first begins, we see her in the courtroom, and she's being issued a restraining order against her ex husband as well as his fiance. And the judge orders her to go seek counseling. So at the top of the movie, she's in a counselor's office, in a therapist's office, and she's talking about what has caused her to be in this criminal predicament. And primarily it's because she's basically stalking, harassing, and threatening the lives of her ex-husband and his fiance. So she goes on to talk to the therapist, and the therapist asks her if she wants to talk about why it is that she's harassing these people. So she begins to tell her story. The therapist suggests that she starts from the beginning. How did you first encounter this situation? So it started in college. She was a college student. She was running out in the rain one day, and she bumps into this man. This man is and when she bumps into this man, he knocks. They each their papers fall to the ground in the rain, right? And as she's picking up the papers as he's trying to help her, she's beating him on his back and all this and all that. She picks up the papers. She runs to her room. That man, her future husband, actually follows her to her room, and he flatters her, and he offers to help her with her homework, and a relationship is started because of that situation, because they met each other in the rain. And she goes on to explain to her therapist that she can't stand dark day. She can't stand the rain because when she met him, it was on a rainy day. So their relationship begins to bloom. Her mother dies at the beginning of this relationship. They're still in college. Her mother dies, and her mother leaves her like over $300,000, I believe, in her home. So her future husband, her now boyfriend, and he lives in a trailer, dirt poor, didn't even have a car, just really downtrodden. You know what I mean? But he's still going to college. He's still trying to make something of himself because he has a dream. He wants to be some kind of engineer, and so. Mother dies. He goes to her home to offer his condolences. Her sisters are there. It seemed like at the time they were like middle class people. They lived in a beautiful home. So they meet the boyfriend. They know they're being acting bougie towards him. Right off. Because they know clearly that they're better off than he is, because evidently of the part of town that he lives in. So that happens. He runs out of the house in embarrassment. Well, he leaves the house of the wake in embarrassment, and she offers to drive him home. And when she drives him home, she sees how and he's living, like I said, in the trailer in the back of a family member's home, because He was being raised by his grandmother. Don't know what happened to his parents. I think they died or something, and they offered him to stay in that trailer while he is going through school. Not in the big house now, but in the trailer. And so he goes on to explain that he's never had, love in his life. He's really doesn't have anybody to depend on but himself. And so for that reason, she's becoming attached to him. You know, a lot of the times, the men that we're involved with, we tend to want to take care of them if they had a hard time. This is the same situation as her. She's a young girl. So the relationship starts to bloom. And really, he's conning her. He's conning her because he knows that she would do anything, for him by this point. So, like I said, she got an inheritance over $300,000. She told him about it. Her sisters couldn't believe that she told him about it. They knew that he was no good from the start, right? But she's in love with this man, insanely in love with this man. So she buys him a car. Now, mind you, she's still young. She's probably about 19 or 20. Or 20 or 21 or something like that. She buys him a car. And after she buys him a car, she doesn't hear from him for a couple of days. And when she doesn't hear from him for a couple of days, her sister has told her, we knew he was kind of you anyway. Oh, by the way, we finna move out of this house. You will have to get a job and take care of the property yourself. And she's like, okay. So she goes up to her room. She calls him. He doesn't answer the phone. He answers the phone, but it's very vague. Like, I need my free hand. Let me call you back and all this and all that. So she starts to think in her mind that something's going on. So she drives over to the trailer. She sits there for hours. She's talking to herself, and she's like, I need to leave. Mind you, she's still young. She's never had a relationship. She was a virgin when she met this man. So she sits there, and she's getting ready to leave. She sees a female hand in the window. And, it's like they're having, sexual relations in the room. She then takes her Jeep and rams the trailer until it falls over. Because she knew that he had a woman in there. That's what she suspected anyway. And so this is the first sign of her mental illness, right? Well, really the second sign, because the first sign was when she beat him up during the rain. But she rams the car until it pushes over. But in the process of her ramming the car, she hurt herself really badly, and she could no longer have children as a result to her being hurt in the accident that she caused, trying to get back. That she was so angry and so full of rage that she rammed her Jeep several times into the man's trailer. Like I said, and as a result, she hurt herself, so she couldn't have children. So time goes on. They make up. He says, I want you to marry me. She marries him. Her sister's telling him she accepted the proposal. Her sister telling him, don't do this. And you don't want to be in this relationship. This guy is no good for you. She didn't listen to them. As a result of them getting married, when they were at the wedding, the sisters didn't show up for the wedding ceremony because they knew that it was a bad idea for her to marry him. And so it's pretty much down here for there. She subsequently moves him into her mom's home, into their family home. He drains her of over the $300,000. She has to pay for his last 2 years of schooling. He doesn't have a job all this time. So after the money gone, she gets 2 jobs to take care of him and her, and fast forward to him, and all the while she's taking care of him, he built some kind of battery that he wants to sell to this company. So he's been writing and sending videos to this company for 18 years, right? And that's why he hasn't been working, because he has a dream. He wants to work on this battery. He tells her one day we're gonna be rich. We're gonna live in this penthouse apartment. We're gonna get us a boat. We're gonna live the fabulous life, right? So for 18 to 20 years, she took care of this man. And the bottom line was, at the last straw of her taking care of him, she's tired. He's taken her youth. He's taken her finances. He's got the family home taken away from them. And as a result of that, the bottom line was she divorced him. She divorced him, and it was done and over with. And the final straw was they found a wallet in one of the family members' truck that belonged to the female. Come to find out, that's the same female he was sleeping with in the trailer when she ran it over, and she hurt herself. She was now infertile because of this same woman. So he meets this woman again after all of these years, and she now works for this company. The woman that he was fooling around with at the time before they got divorced, she subsequently gets him an interview with this company that he's been trying to get to take a look at his battery and purchase his battery for 20 years. So she subsequently gets him an interview. They offer him $800,000. This is before she signed divorce papers. He turned it down, and he should have turned it down because they weren't offering him enough money for his invention. She turns it down. She divorces him. A couple of months after she divorces him, the woman that he was fooling with at first that got him the interview, his future wife, actually, finds him. He's staying in a homeless shelter. He's lost everything. He is now working as a dishwasher. She contacts him and tells him that the company has given him a new offer for his battery. So the new offer is for, I think they said $750 million or $75 million or something like that. So he accepts that offer, but he is now divorced. He shows up at Taraji's job. Oh, I'm sorry, I was going too far. Sorry about this, y'all. But he shows up at Taraji's job, and he gives her a check for $10 million. They're already divorced now. He gives her a check for $10 million and some roses. He buys their family home back for her, and the effort is to, say thank you, and I'm sorry for all the trouble that I put you through. He did not have to do this. They were already divorced. He owed her nothing, right? So when she realized that, wow, he must really love me. He brought my family home back. He brought me a check for $10 million. She goes to the penthouse and wants to reunite with him after she's divorced him. She's talking to him. She's got a lingerie on. The woman comes out and she introduces herself and says, I'm his fiance. Lord, what in the world did she say that for? At that point in time, all hell broke loose, and just goes to say, I won't tell you anymore, but she goes to a series of unfortunate, very vicious and rage-filled events where she's trying to kill them both. It all culminates, and the boiling point is on a boat when they're on their honeymoon. Him and the other woman's on the honeymoon. Taraji's on the boat. She tries to kill the both of them. The female escapes, who is now pregnant, and Taraji's trying to kill the ex-husband with the axe, and she subsequently drowns herself. And so that's the review. That's pretty much what went on in the movie. But the moral of the story is, I'm torn by the movie. Like I said, it was a good movie, but it plays into the stereotype of the mad black woman. And we know Tyler Perry already had made one movie about the diary of a mad black woman. In this movie, he takes it to another level. But he also... What I fear that a lot of people won't realize, that the therapist mentioned a very important fact, a very important symptom that Taraji P. Henson has. And she said, have you ever heard of the term of borderline personality disorder? And what he was doing was he was explaining why the way that she's acting, the way that she's acting. She's acting this way because she's just not a stereotypical mad black woman. She's not just scorned because her ex-husband fulfilled his dreams and became a millionaire, almost a billionaire, after they got divorced. Do you see what I'm saying? She's not only angry, just a mad black woman, because after 20 years she gave him her virginity, she gave him her youth, she took care of him for all these years. She's not only mad that now him and another woman is living their fantasy world, their dream life, turned reality. She's not only scorned because that, she's mentally ill. Yes, she's also scorned. She's scorned to the point to where she can't let it go. And he did try to make up, to her for all those years of pain and for the fact that, he took her youth and he did take advantage of her, and he did swindle her, out of not only money, but her youth, like I said. But he gave her a check for $20 million. He bought the family home back. That was his way of saying, I'm sorry and I appreciate everything you've done for me. That wasn't good enough for her. She didn't care about the money, the family, the home, or anything. She was so enraged that he had now moved on to greener pastures and a better life, that she needed to kill him and the woman, But that is not just a mad black woman rage. That is a mental illness. And and that explains a lot and I think that he was trying to explain why some women in general, not only black women, some women can't just let things go, like past relationships. If those relationships grow to be beyond toxic, you see what I'm saying? And she tried to, because she was so mentally ill and she was enraged at the same time, she couldn't accept the help that the therapist was trying to give her. And I think that is so unfortunate. And I want to do this review because a lot of us in the black community, men and women, suffer from mental illness. And when we're acting the way that we're acting, all erratic and toxic and crazy in our relationships, there may be a reason for it. And that reason could be you're not just a mad black woman. You have borderline personality disorder or some other kind of mental disorder. And I think that was the overall message for the movie, but I fear that people would take this movie and turn it into nothing more than a stereotype. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate. I don't think that a lot of us will get the message of the movie. So for that reason, I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's the greatest Tyler Perry movie. Tyler Perry is obsessed with doing movies concerning and stereotyping black women. But in this movie, I think he tried to explain it away, and I hope a lot of us will get what he was trying to say, and he was really talking about mental illness, especially as they pertain to toxic relationships. Anyway, I'm going to get off of here. I'm sorry the video took so long, but I really need to talk about this. Like, share, subscribe. If you subscribe, please don't forget to hit the notification bell. That will notify you anytime I post a video or go live. I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys have a happy Sunday or a happy Easter. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye. Peace.